sitting in the morning sun. I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah, I'm sitting on the dock.
Robert, I just deeply appreciate your sacrifice for the state. You gave so much of your time, effort, and life to making this a better state for many, many people, and we really deeply appreciate it.
Well, there's a lot of great memories I have with Senator Brown. Actually, our friendship goes 18 years. As a lieutenant governor working with the minority leader, I had numerous meetings with him privately. And the one thing that I would always say about Senator Brown is that he recognized that politics was not about the past. It was always about the future. And he was a guy who would fight hard on the things that he believed, very passionate about.
But he knew that as leader of the Democratic caucus, he had to bring people together, and he made sure that all members were listened to, whether you were from an urban area or rural area. He made sure that you as a caucus member, thought that you were a viable part of the Democratic caucus. And so my relationship with him was based on mutual respect.
There's one thing about Robert Brown: if he was a committed individual, he was one that he constantly was quiet about the way he did things, but at the same time, he was somebody that you can always count on in the difficult times to come forward.
Robert would always give you the straight up of it. You didn't have to worry about it, whether it was the truth or whether he allowed his opinions to sway what actually happened or not.
Senator Brown served District 26 with a type of quiet strength that was so revered by his constituents and by leaders alike.
He knew that an opposition party was very critical to a democracy. That a minority party, when it was an opposition party, when it functioned as a real opposition party, it was that democracy was being fulfilled. And that will be, I think, when all is said and done, looking back from a distance, will be his greatest legacy, keeping Democratic Party's ideals alive as a viable option to the majority party.
Senator Brown would have a relaxing mode in the chamber, but if it had an issue, he would just awake like Hercules and come to the well and make such statements that would impact or impress anybody.
But let me tell you about, when we talk about politics, sometimes you have to go back to the root of the word. That's why you begin to understand what the words really mean. I know some of you may not be etymologists, but I know you were taught how to go look up a word in the dictionary and then take the thesaurus and see if there were similar words. Let's look at this word, politics. Poly, many. Ticks, bloodsuckers. Bloodsuckers. Now, right now, I want to talk about the bloodsuckers for a minute. I've heard people talk about all aspects of this bill. When they talk about local control, it's not about local control, it's about the liquor. And when I say to you about local control, I'm under local control. Miss May Liza and the preachers and the Sunday school teachers who sent me here, they are controlling me. And they told me not to vote for this bill. So I'm under local control.
I think this has been one of the most unproductive sessions. We've had to wrangle with this budget. Unfortunately, we
don't look like we're going to have a viable transportation plan. There are a lot of other things that are laying on the table as far as education is concerned. I'm very much concerned that, again, we're going to be faced with a situation where we're reducing our support for education in this state. And if we're looking at long-term growth, it's important for us to make sure that we preserve and protect our education system. And I don't see us doing that effectively this session. I'm going to talk about something in ways that I normally don't talk. I know you've seen different versions of me in this well. You've seen me with my red suspenders. I'm no clown. My name just rhymes with clown. I will not be doing any clowning around today. I'm going to talk about politicians, senators, suckers, and bloodsuckers. Gloves are off. Now, when I first came to this body, I didn't come up here to get rich. I didn't come up here to pal around with the lobbyists and try to make contacts so I can make contracts. I came up here on a crusade for justice. I came out of a community organizing advocacy position. Now, some of you see me sitting back there with my eyes closed, ran way back. You think I'm asleep. But I learned a long time ago that it's better to listen than to see.
The thing that I remember most about Senator Brown from the very beginning was the fact that he's what I call a sleeper. You know, he's the kind of guy that never really got riled up, almost just be asleep. And then all of a sudden he just goes to the well and then just, you know, continues to make a great speech on something that he feels very passionate about.
The thing that I remember most about Senator Brown was his intelligence. He was a master strategist who always was thinking several steps ahead.
But he could come out the cage and come out very forceful. But my sense of him and his attribute was that he was a quiet leader. He was a committed leader. He was one that once his word was his bond. Once he gave you his word, no matter what the external pressures was, no matter what the tourniquet was, Robert Brown was there with you in that issue. So I think I remember him in that sense, that he was a quiet leader, but yet he was an effective leader, and he was a very much committed leader.
Robert was the same, in the office, in the legislature, at home, always straight up and honest, a man of few words, and taught me to value brevity. He always said that, you know, people appreciate when you don't talk too long, you know, and they hear what you have to say. And I appreciated that about him, because he spoke, but when he spoke little, but when he did speak, it was of substance.
And I thought about him the other night when I was thinking of our favorite Bible verse that we shared when we went to churches and we talked about all the time. And that was Ecclesiastes 3:3. It says, "For everything there is a season and a time and a place under the heavens." It's a time to live and a time to die. It's a time to love and a time to hate. There's a time for war and a time for peace. This is the time for peace, and may he rest in peace. And I am so happy that I had this season with Robert Brown. I'm glad he shared his good times and his bad times with so many of us. I will always remember him.
Well, you know, when you think about someone's death and the legacy and their memory, I always like to go to the strength of the mind and of the the heart, and I always say that when you look back on anyone's life, you cherish those memories and moments that you had to share with them.
I think his mark really is one that's about fighting for his constituency, fighting for the people that needed the voice that only he could deliver.
For working together on things that mattered perhaps from the heart was a little different. Once Senator Brown actually went to the well defending my honor. And when that happened, without any urging from anybody to do that, it gave us a really close relationship. You know, he'll be sorely missed. He was a man that carried a lot of influence, not only in the state, but also around the Macon, Bibb County area. And I think that the legacy he lives, that he was very compassionate.
The passing of Senator Brown was a tremendous blow, very unexpected to Macon and Middle Georgia. And we lost a leader that we could look to.
Other than that, I miss him terribly. I'll always miss him, but I certainly appreciate all the contributions to our community, and just I appreciate him just being a lifelong friend of mine, a loyal friend that I could count on.
I am so happy that we have had an opportunity to share God's blessings and time with our brother, our friend, our mentor, my cousin, and he was always the greatest leader that I've ever known in this state Senate, a man of peace, and that is Robert Brown. Senator Robert Brown, you will be missed. We love you, but God love you best.